Hi, welcome back. In this video, I will be demonstrating how to send an email notification using Python script with the SQL DB server. I will use SQL Server to pull the information and send the emails to the users inside the SQL Server tables. I have created a table in my DB which is running on my local machine. This is my table, these 6 columns in the table. So I will be pulling the entire information from this table, and later on I will filter the data what I want to send it to the receiver in a HTML format and send it to the receiver, and the receivers would be the users in this column. And I will add the email. I will make the connection as gmail@gmail.com at the end of each user and send it to them. So let's get started. To pull the information from the SQL server, we need a library called Alchemy. So import SQL Alchemy as DB, which I will be using the SQL Alchemy library as a DB in my entire code. The basic thing is to create a session with the DB. So let's create a session. Session equals db.create engine, and here enter the SQL Server address. So my address is email notification. So this is the address for my SQL Server with the schema. In this URL, I have username, password, and the host this server host name. It may be IP address or a name, and then the schema where the table is located at. So these are the things that we will be entering inside this address to create a session. After we create a session, then we have to connect. So to do that, let's say session dot connect, and now we will connect to the DB. And once we connect to the DB, we have to get the information, get the table. Very simple. It's say just connect connection dot execute. So I'm using a standard DB SQL command. So this is a standard SQL command that will pull the entire table. The table name is notifications. So once the command has been executed, then we have to fetch the table, fetch the information and store it in a variable in the Python. So to do that, let's say fetch result equals result dot fetch all. So the fetch all will fetch the information, everything present in this. And to check the result what we have got, let's say print fetch the result, and let's print this one and see what the result is. So I have received the I got the result on the terminal, and which is not in the it's in the it's a raw data. So now I got to convert this raw data into dictionaries or lists so that I can manipulate the data inside the Python. So this can be done using a list, storing the data in the list. And so I would say user info list equals, and so the way how we store the data inside the list depends on us. And I would like to use for loop condition, which will have the iteration process that reads the row by row in the table and append the row in the list. So this is how it will append the data, and let's print the list and see how we get the data. So now I have the data, but it is twice. Thing is, it is, oh sorry, I I'm printing twice. So now if you see, now it's been stored uh, in the list, but just to make it more comfortable, I would like to store the data in the form of dictionaries, which will give me more control on the data. Okay, so the entire row cannot be converted into the dictionary. So what I'm going to do is I will pull each column from the table and store it on the list. So the each column would be like a user, device, average memory space, threat level, login titles. So those each column will be independently sent to the list and stored. In order to capture each column details with the header, type the header name has a string, and then enter the position of the column element in the row. So the first element in the row is the username. The count starts from 0 and go on. 0 would be the first column, and 1 would be the second column, 2 would be the third column. So the first column is user, so now I'm capturing the position 0 in a row. And when it comes to device, position 1. Same thing with the rest of them. And for example, row 2. I don't want to pull the complete table columns in. I just want to only filter certain columns that I want. So to do that, it is very simple. You don't just don't mention the columns what you don't need them in the list over here, and whatever the columns you write here would be only captured and saved and stored in the list. So I say space, so column 3. Yeah, there are 6 columns, but I'm only using 4 columns, which I don't want the other ones. Okay, but you may have a doubt saying, okay, I don't want the, since you have since I have 6 columns, how can I select the columns? Does it only should be in the sequence or not? It don't have to be on the sequence in the series or in the sequence. It can be random also. So for example, the next column to the space is threat level, and the next is logging title. Now I will not use the threat level. I don't pull the threat level. I will only just filter login title. Just make sure you write the names correct, because it is going to search for them. All right, so now I have written all the positions, and now let's see how it looks in the list. There you go. So now if you see, it does provide us the user, the header, and what's the value of the header. Yeah, value of the value in the column, same thing, and it is stored in the form of a dictionary. Yeah, the plus point with the dictionary is you can manipulate the data. That's why I like it. So now we got the data as I needed, and now let's go ahead and use this data and send an email to the following 3 recipients. So I have configured my Gmail API to receive an email from the script. So everything is set up. So I would just only need to code and send an email from here. The libraries I choose to send email, SMTP lib, SSL, and mem text and mem multipart. These help me to create send the email notification, and the logic or the code is kind of simple. So let's get and import the libraries what we require for emails. So these are the three libraries that I have imported, and let's add code over here. So this should be good. All the code for the email will be written inside the for loop in order to send the email for user by user. So for each row, after it collects the data and after it does the job with the row, it sends the email and then it goes to the next one. So that should be the better good way to fulfill the job. I will add the code over here inside for loop. So let's start and say providing the details for the script. Who is sender, who is going to receive it, and what's the subject. Sender email would be mine. So this is the receiver email format. Over here I'm collecting the username from the row and adding an extension called @gmail.com, assuming that the end user email address is @gmail.com, but you can change it. This is an optional. You can completely change it to a string and keep the names, or you can do it like create a text file and paste the all the list of email addresses over there and then again do it. It depends on your preferences. I have my user inside the table, which I have to just use only @gmail.com, so I'm using it. And the receiver email would be, so this is the receiver email, and the password would be the sender's email password. So now let's create the message what you want to send the message. So over here the message would be here subject. I'm typing test email from Python script. Message from where you will be receiving the message. Sender email, sh2, and these are the parameters from the library, so we have to follow the same. Receiver email. So now we have entered the details for them, and what we have to do is so over here, now this is where we send the message. So I will be using a HTML file that will have the information in a tabular form with some colors and all the stuff, and that will fetch the Python script will fetch the will send the dynamic data to the HTML script using Jinja template, and then it renders the Jinja template. Jinja library would render the template and send an email to the receiver. So over here, what I would do is before that, let me we have to write a code that uh, to open the HTML file. So this is the render and template from Jinja template. So let me import Jinja template library as well. All good. So now here we have the template will Jinja template will render the HTML file. So I pass the data into the HTML file. So to do that, row equals user information list. Paste. So this is where the Jinja template will collect the information, collect the data from this list and pass it to the row. And this list will be sent into the inside the for loop, because if the list is outside the for loop, then the data is appended and the information will be sent to a user. One of the user is not available, even that information will be sent to the next user. So that should not happen. So I have done is I created a list inside the loop so that whatever the iteration is going on, for each iterate, it will store it in the list, and then for the next iterate it will clear the old data and then put the new data into the list. So that way the list only contains only one iterate. So this template would be so these 4 lines will open the HTML file and read the HTML file, and then using the Jinja template it will render the template by passing the dynamic data into the template. So these are the things done on these 4 lines. These 4 lines are important if you are using a HTML file. If not, then it is okay. You can directly write the HTML code inside the same script and save it. But I like to keep it everything separate so we don't mess if with a single script. So now we have created a way how we can open the HTML file and render the template. So now let's go ahead and create a new HTML file over here. Same name. So now I have created an HTML file. We don't need title or anything like that. All we have to do is just focus on the body. In the body we need header, test email. Now let's create a table. Inside the table and start creating the rows. User, device, average memory, space, again title. I have to create a for loop, which is I'm just creating a standard Jinja template format, so nothing crazy. So here item dot user, so I just copy this and paste it. 4, 5, and change the values. Paste and login title. You know, this data will be entered dynamically with the help of Jinja template, and it keeps on iterating as long as you it gets data. So if it has 100 lines, then it creates 100 rows and insert the data inside in the HTML table. So now this looks good. So this is a HTML table now which I created, and it should send an email with a table, a message saying test email. So to create styles, style, font, family, caliber, so the template is ready now, and I have imported the template into the code, and now all we have to do is just send it. To send, once we open the template and we have done the job, we have to attach the message. we have to attach the template, the data in the template to the message. So email message equals mem text HTML template and what type of format it is. So this is the HTML template file, and what format the message could be is HTML. And now attach the message. Attach to HTML. So now we have attached the message. Next, create a context which will have a secured email, which will have a secure connection to the email server. Your default context. And now with, let's create a with condition which will create a session and then close it. With is always helpful in when there are cases like opening and closing. With will automatically do the closing part as well. So here I have to mention my email server details. So this is the port number that the email server has it. And the context would be context, which is the context as a server. So I'm creating this session, I'm opening this session. This connection has a server, and then server dot login under email password. These are the two parameters I am passing to the server to get login. Now once the login is successful, now send the email address, send an email. In send email we have to pass the parameters what it should include. Your email, your email message as string, and these are the three parameters that we will pass when it is sending an email. So sender email, receiver message, and we are formatting the message as a string. And yeah, this is it. So this way, once everything is good, then I will run the program and it should send an email. I will show you how it will look like. So it threw me an error, and let's find what it is. So it is a Jinja template error. Oh, I started the for loop, but I did not end it. So I have to end that. Okay, so now I corrected that. So it says my credentials are not accepted. So I corrected my email address. It was an error. Okay, so the code is finished. Okay, now I am on my email. I did get the table. with an effect of heading. So let's make this look very clean with the CSS style. So when it comes to the header, I have to change the header. Save it. Now let's, oh yeah, I did add the padding, so that's good. So resend it again. Ta-da. There you go. So yeah, this is simple. So all I'm trying to show you is how to create an email with the HTML styling, HTML and CSS styling, and send using the Python script. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it is not too long, but thank you for watching. Take care. Bye bye. See you next time.